right, New York Giant fans, the first practice of the 2024 season in terms of training camp is complete. A lot of stuff to take away from it. I was actually shit scared to be honest with you guys, that the practice was going to be canceled, and I'm coming all the way from New York, and that would be a waste of a trip to Jersey. But if you haven't already, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. I'm actually in the parking lot closest to the gate as possible because I have a family member who has a handicap sticker, so I get a little front row access. But nonetheless, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. As far as the tempo of the practice, obviously all the details with lineups and injuries and this, that, and the third will be listed a little later. But it wasn't like too high tempo of a practice. You know, they were doing install. One of the main things that caught my eye is that they were doing mostly swing passes and check downs. So that's pretty much that. But let's get into it. So they had a presser at 9:15 in the morning, and Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll said that Evan Neal is coming back soon. With that being said, however, Jermaine Illuminor would start at right tackle in training camp, and then, you know, obviously when Evan Neal comes back, they'll see what they're going to do. But there's a lot to see going forward because guess what? Illuminor got injured. We'll talk about that. But also Aaron Stinney, he took the majority of the snaps, if not all the snaps at left guard. And obviously I looked at position battles to where who was rotating where because, again, they don't have an official depth chart yet. They don't even have an unofficial depth chart yet. So, you know, obviously seeing how these things play out. Nonetheless, there is no timetable, and I'm looking at my notes down here. There is no timetable for when Aaron Robinson is expected to return to the New York Giants lineup. He is on the sideline. He is on PUP. And, well, obviously the knee injury has been very detrimental to his very young career at that. Isaiah Simmons, he was mixing in with some of the three guys, but to start out, he was actually in corner drills. So I find that very interesting, but not surprising because guess what? Shane Bowen said that he's going to be a nickel corner on first and second down. So whether they have him there or all these different guys, he wasn't in the first team lineup, but I guess they're just mixing him in. Nonetheless, Allen Robinson was actually with the 3 team, and so is Trey Herndon. So I find that, again, interesting. Not that they're going to get like a huge amount of starter reps, but, you know, Trey Herndon at least. I would have expected maybe the 2s, maybe the 1s, but again, a little surprising there. The position they probably rotated the most with is tight end. Everybody on the roster got burned at the tight end position. Manhertz, Tyree Jackson, Jack Stoll, Lawrence Cager. Obviously, Johnson's on PUP, so everybody got burned. As far as the DT2 spot next to Dexter Lawrence, Nacho took it over first, then it was Ryder Anderson, and then they mixed in Elijah Chapman and Timmy Horn later in practice. I don't take too much away from that, but Jordan Phillips was also with the 3s, so I guess that's the veteran knockoff schmuck flunky level, the 3rd level. But again, I find that really interesting. Moving on, as far as the corner lineup goes, it was Deonte Banks, Cordale Flott, and Nick McLeod. And McLeod, I like him. He is a very good DB, at least for the Giants' sake. Not like he's an elite corner or anything, but for what he was and just a special teamer to start. And then obviously in 22, he got more corner reps. I think he's solid, and I think he fits this system. And again, we mentioned who lined up at defensive tackle. We mentioned who lined up at the offensive line spots. As far as the O-line went before the Illuminor injury, which we'll talk about, it was Josh Ezeudu, Jake Kubis, Austin Schlodman. Right tackle was Joshua Miles, and right guard was Jimmy Morrissey. And then afterward, it was Joshua Miles, Jake Kubis, Austin Schlodman, Jalen Mayfield, and number 70, Yodny Kajusti. And then the third O-line before the injury was Matt Nelson, who didn't have a great practice from the reps that I saw. It was Matt Nelson, Jalen Mayfield, Jimmy Morrissey, Marcus McKeithen, and right tackle being Yodny Kajusti. And then the only maneuver they made was switching McKeithen, again, at right guard, and then right tackle being Marcellus Johnson, the rookie undrafted free agent out of Missouri and Eastern Michigan. As far as Daniel Jones, I know obviously I posted some clips A lot of swing passes. Again, like I talked about in the beginning of the video, I didn't think he looked great. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think he looked great. I think there was 2 errant passes by him. There was a drop by Malik Neighbors when he went deep. But again, it's the first day of practice, so I'm not really going to go hard on anybody. Boogie Basham had an interception, by the way, which is probably the most productive thing he's done as a New York Giants player. It was a bounce up in the air, but Drew Lock threw it. It was bounced up in the air, and it was intercepted afterwards. As far as the other corner spots go for the New York Football Giants, the second team corners, Darnay Holmes was outside, Trey Hawkins and Andrew Phillips. Then also for safeties, Elijah Riley and Tyler Nubin. The starting safeties were Jason Pinnock and Dane Belton. And then the third team corners, it was Caleb Hayes, David Long Jr., and Trey Herndon. So that's the corner lineup. And then also as well, they did some rotation with inside linebacker. Deontay Johnson got some reps. So I find that interesting, but, it's not surprising because Deontay Johnson is a fit for this system technically. So, he might make a roster based off specials and his fit. Nathan Rourke, he got 1 drive at the end of practice, and that was it. But let's talk about Jermaine Eluemunor to close out this video. Again, not much to take away with the first practice. But with that being said, Eluemunor, it was a reverse to Malik Neighbors, and it looks like Eluemunor either had an arm injury or got gut punched. And that's not good, obviously, because you have the Evan Neal injury, and Josh Ezeudu came in. He stunk it up a little bit, not going to lie. But when you're facing Kayvon Thibodeaux and you're at Josh Ezeudu's level, we know what's going to happen, right? We know what's going to happen. So hopefully it's not more than a few days. The Giants really can't afford these injuries in camp. And, if it's guard, it's one thing because you could sign Van Roten, and I know a lot of people are saying that already. But also as well, this is tackle, right? Matt Nelson's behind him, Josh Ezeudu's behind him. Both of them had some pretty bad reps, but when they put the pads on, we'll, have a further investigation on that. But hopefully Eluemunor is okay. Again, it looked like a gut punch or an arm injury, so presuming probably the least amount of time missed. But again, we'll see. We'll see what happens as far as his injury goes, and hope for the best. Like, comment, subscribe, folks, to turn on post notifications so you know when the live stream pops or a video drops. Gonna drop some footage after this. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted or any of that stuff. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.
They have McLeod in the slot.